I'm sure you've seen these cinematic shots claiming they were shot from an iPhone, and yes, they do look very amazing. But the question arises, how were they able to extract these shots just from using a mere iPhone? Well, they use something called log, and specifically, some uses Apple Log too. Log is kind of a hard topic for beginners, and sometimes they say using log is hard, editing with log is super hard, when it actually isn't if you know the right fundamentals. So today, it's just that. I'm going to show you how you can actually process log, what is log, and how you can actually shoot log even on older iPhones. Let's check it out. First is how you can actually shoot log. Now for iPhones, well, 15 Pro or newer Pro models,
We are also introducing log encoding.
you can just go into the camera or Final Cut Camera, good application from Apple. Basically, this will allow you to record in ProRes log. This is the most supported models because they have the computing power to actually process this. But for users like me who are using older models like the iPhone 13, we can try to bypass it by using this app called LogCam. So it's actually a straightforward app. You go to the App Store, then you search up LogCam. Great, once it found it, now we just click install, open, and by the time you open the app, well, you are given a trial period for a few days, but you are limited to a short time of recording. Now, you can just pay for the app. It's really worth it because after you do, you have a variety of options for these log profiles ranging from Canon, Sony, or even Apple Log 1 and Apple Log 2. After you selected them, you can adjust various settings. Then you can just click record, and after record, it will be kept inside of the app folder, which you can just airdrop the file to your Mac if you need to edit. It's pretty straightforward. And now, after you recorded every of the footage that you need, let's get into the color grading process. The answer is the all-in-one plugin for all of your cinematic needs. Whether you need cool effects or film emulation tools, the answer is the plugin for you. It gives a wide range of effects like halation, bloom, everything that you need inside of a cinematic footage. If you want to upgrade your videos, make sure to check the answer at the link below and use code Joel for 10% off. Thank you, the answer, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so basics. Log is a color profile that is applied to footages when you want deeper access in post-production. Okay, it might sound very complicated for beginners, so I'm just going to simplify it like this. If you have a footage recorded in a phone, it will be recorded in something called Rec 709. This is the default color profile available on all devices. So no matter when you're looking at an iPhone, an Android, an iPad, a Mac, all of them will be able to view your content with the same colors when you edit them. But the problem is when you try to edit it, because it's already so unified and compressed, there's not much room for your edits. So if you crank up the saturation and highlights like a maniac, then you are not able to get that full quality because there's going to be artifacts. These artifacts are much harder to remove than just modifying the pre-production settings. So before recording, some videographers will choose the log format. Log format enables you to have more control when editing color because by default, it compresses more color information when recording. Of course, this takes more processing power and limited to a few phones and cameras only. But nevertheless, we are going to try and actually convert log into Rec 709 usable footage. Some people say it's hard, but it's actually not. So I can open something like Final Cut Pro, my default editing choice. And we are going to create a new project, log practice, with 4K settings. I have the footage ready for our demo right here, which is a footage of me talking. As you can see, by default, I don't have any color with me when I was doing the recording. It isn't because the phone is broken or bad, it's just because I'm using the log format. Using the log format, specifically Apple Log 2, means that the colors are washed out by default. Now, every camera and every phone will have a different log setting. Let me show you. If you actually go into the media pool and click on your footage, go into the info tab right here, and on Final Cut Pro, you want to change, by default, you have this basic panel, which is very limited. You want to go into the drop-down menu and click on something called extended, then choose camera lot. You see here, There are a lot of options of log. So Sony cameras, Nikon, Canon have different log settings, different mathematical functions and formulas to get that perfect color. So I'm using an iPhone, specifically I'm using Apple Log 2. Now on Apple Log, you can see the footage right here. Apple Log 1 is specifically more associated with something like Rex 2020, more into HDR, but Apple Log 2 enables much more closer relation with Rec 709. So that's what I'm using, that's what I recorded with. And that's pretty much it for a conversion LUT. So that's the basic of conversion LUT. It's a lookup table. So a LUT is a lookup table that enables you to pinpoint these mathematical formulas, the colors that you have already selected, and then just apply it into a footage that you feel that you want with the same consistency throughout the footage. Because if I go into this other footage of me talking, and then I apply the same LUT as the previous one, which is default one from Apple, then I will have the same color consistency between these two footages. But the thing is, sometimes when bundled with the editing software, the quality of the colors aren't that very good. Sometimes you have your own preferred LUTs, and there are LUTs that enable you to transform between original log directly into something that is more resembling a stylized LUT. So directly from log into something more vintage, directly from log to something more stylized cinematic, and that's okay. So, for example, I don't want this to use the default option Apple gives me. I can select none, and I can go into the effects tab and select on custom LUT over here, drag it. Then you will want to go into the video tab, in which you will be able to choose your own LUT, but I actually have some preloaded LUTs for this demo. For example, huge shout out to Tyler Stallman for creating this awesome LUT. But using this LUT, you can see there's a difference between Apple's one. His LUT is much more punchy in the colors. You can see that it's much more clear than before, which is strange, but this is because every LUT will have different settings. Because if I have another LUT with the same function, and you can see there's a difference between the exposure and the highlight setting, it's complicated. But the point is, every LUT will have differences, and that's why you need to really choose what conversion LUT you want. I did mention there are stylized options. For example, these Cinecolor ones, they give, well, different aspects, different themes. For example, this one is more suited for a vintage theme, and that's completely up to you to how you can actually use these stuff. So that's basically it. This is how you will mess around with log. It's not as complicated as people think. And when you're ready to color grade, you can just go into the color panel, and I use color wheels for most of my work. And for example, I want to go back into the Stallman option. I think that the highlights could be a little more lower, so I'm just going to decrease the highlight brightness. But then I want it to have more saturation globally. You can see my skin is much more warmer now. But I want a deeper sense of contrast. So if you actually followed my original tutorial, you can go check it out. You can go into the hue saturation curve. Now for contrast, I'm just going to use color curves. So in the Luma curve, I'm going to create an S curve. That's what most editors will use. Now, as you can see, even if I'm dragging it like this and I'm playing it, there's no artifacts, unlike what I did with the previous tutorial where artifacts appear, because this time I'm using log footage, which gives me, again, more flexibility when editing. So I'm not going to adjust it too much. At least I got a sense of contrast there. There we go. And as you can see, it's much better than the original footage that we got. And that's basically the entire purpose of log. Alright, so that's the entire tutorial for today. And I do hope that this is very helpful for you when you're starting out color grading and you don't really know what to do. I hope that it is very informative and is able to guide you into the log process. Now, if you want a more detailed, thorough review, there are more tutorials available on the internet and YouTube. But overall, this is the basic things that you need to know when dealing with log, especially in Final Cut Pro. So that's my entire tutorial for today. If you like these kinds of tutorials, make sure to subscribe to see more and like the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.